I'm going to show you how your ACOS is actually destroying your book on KDP, and by the end of it, I'm actually going to show you proof as well. Now, I know what you're asking. Barry, my ACOS is really, really high. Is this video going to help me with that? Of course it is. Another question you might be asking, Barry, my ACOS is really, really low, but I'm not getting a lot of sales because of it. Is this video going to help me? Of course it is. Because if you have a problem with your ACOS, that means you don't understand what ACOS actually is. And a lot of people on YouTube are teaching ACOS completely wrong. Now, who am I to say that other people are teaching it wrong? Well, I spent thousands of dollars on ads. I've wasted thousands of dollars. But the good thing is I've learned a bunch of lessons by spending those thousands of dollars on Amazon KDP ads. And one of the lessons I learned was I was looking at ACOS completely wrong. And most publishers, especially new publishers, are looking at ACOS completely wrong. But it's okay, because I'm here to show you how to look at ACOS in the right way. So how do we figure out what ACOS is? Well, the first thing we need to figure out is our revenue. This is our revenue. This means how many sales or how much money in sales have we made. This is $0, and then let's say this is $1,000. Your ACOS is the amount of money that you spend compared to your revenue. So this is your revenue, not your profit, not your royalties, your revenue. This means how much money in sales you've made. If your book is priced at $10 and you made 100 sales, then you made $1,000 in revenue. Is that correct? That's correct. That's your revenue. So if we made $1,000 in revenue and we've spent $500 in ads, so this is ad spend and it's $500, then our ACOS is 50% because we've spent half the money that we made in revenue. That's what ACOS is. If you spent $1,000 and you made $1,000 in revenue back, then your ACOS is 100% because you spent the exact amount that you've made back in revenue. Now, if your ACOS is above 100%, that means you've spent more money in ads than you got back in revenue. That's all your ACOS is. It's the percentage of money that you spend on ads compared to your revenue. Not your profit, not your royalties, only your revenue. Now, when I first started out, I thought that ACOS had to be break even. This was such bad advice. And I'll tell you why right now. So let's actually calculate a break-even ACOS. How do we do that? How do we calculate the break-even ACOS? Very, very simple. Step one, your price. What is the price of your book? Let's say the price of our book is $16. Great. Step one complete. Step two, what is your profit for every sale that you make? So 16 is the revenue that you make if you sell the book. Can't spell revenue. But then out of this price, you're going to get a specific royalty. Let's say our royalty is $5.60. So for every sale that we make $16 in revenue, but $5.60 in profit. Now, to calculate your break-even ACOS, you need to figure out what's the percentage of 16 that makes up $5.60. Actually, there's a better way to say that. If we take 16, what percent of 16 is $5.60? Well, that's actually 35%. So we make 35% in royalty based on our price. 35% of 16 is $5.60, which is our profit. So this is our break-even ACOS, which basically says if we make $16 in revenue and we spend 35% of that money in ads, then we're breaking even. We can spend $5.60 to make back $5.60. That's a break-even ACOS. Now, the mistake most publishers make, and the mistake that I made as well, is thinking that this is my target ACOS. Every single thing I must do is to get to a 35% ACOS. I can't become profitable unless I reach a 35% ACOS. That's a complete lie. Because focusing on your break-even ACOS actually limits your ability to grow. It limits your ability to make a bunch of money. You can make a little bit of money, no problem, but you can't make a bunch of money if you're focused on break-even ACOS, especially at the start of your book. If you're launching your book, ACOS doesn't even matter. You're launching your book. So focusing on ACOS and your break-even ACOS especially is like having a Ferrari, but you have the handbrake on. You have the potential to make a bunch of sales, just like you have the potential to go 200 kilometers an hour, but you have the handbrake on. You're not gonna go 200 kilometers an hour with the handbrake on. It doesn't matter if you have a Bugatti, if you have a Ferrari, a Lambo, doesn't matter. You have the handbrake on. Just like here, you're focusing on your break-even ACOS, which is going to limit your growth. Because here's how I expected things to work, and here's how most of you guys expect your Amazon ads to work. Now, with Amazon KDP, we have PPC and we have organic. These are sales. So PPC, that's pay-per-click. That's what you pay to make a sale. That's your Amazon ads. Now, you think you have PPC and then you have your book. This is your book. So you can either pay and then make a sale and you make some money. And then you have organic, which is free. So then what you think you should do is that you think you should break even on your PPC. So whatever you spend, you make back on your PPC. And then whatever you make organic will be your actual profit. So in other words, if you spend this much on ads, you want to make this much in ads back, and then you want to make this much in total sales, which means all of these are your break-even ads, and only this part here is your organic, your actual profit. I don't know if this makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. I don't know if it will make sense in your mind. So this is how much I spent on ads. This is how much I made back from ads. This is how much I made in total sales. But this portion here is from the ads, and only this small portion is organic. So I'm spending all of this to make this in actual profit. This is how much money I'm actually getting back, because all of this money I spent it on ads anyway. Now, this is not how Amazon works. This is not what you should be focused on. These two are not actually separate. Your PPC is not separate from your organic. In fact, your PPC works together with your organic, and then they use both their energies, both their powers to grow your book. So because they work together, whatever you do over here will affect over here, and whatever you do over here will affect over here. These are one. They're not separate. They're one. It's as if they're married. This is the husband, this is the wife. They are married. They work together. They are one. So you can't treat them as separate when they're one. Now here's the thing. The more this goes up, the more this goes up. The more this goes down, the more this goes down. It's so simple. But what does this actually mean? Because it's so easy for me to sit here and just say random words and not show you what it actually means. Here's what it means. If you focus on break even from your ads, then let's say this is how much you spent on ads, and this is how much you made back. So these two are basically the same. Let's say this is $500 and this is $500. So you spend $500 on ads, you made $500 on ads, and then you also have your organic. And this is how much you made organically. Let's say $200. So you spent $1,000 to make $200 back. This is because you try to break even with your ads. This is because you were focused on your ACOS. You wanted to have a break-even ACOS. But here's the thing. Let's say we spent way more on ads. So let's say we spent $700 on ads and we only made back $300. That means that, first of all, our ACOS is not going to be break-even because we're actually losing money from ads. Actually, to make it more simple, let's just say we made back $500. So we lost $200 on ads. Because we spent more on PPC and obviously spending it in the correct places. I'm not saying to run random PPC campaigns. This is using my phase 1, 2, and 3 strategy. If we spend $700 but only made $500 back, if we spend the money in the correct place, what's going to happen is we're not going to make $200 off organic. We can make $500 off organic. Why? Because these two work together. Just like we said, PPC and organic work together. So because we spent on the PPC, it increased our organic ranking. And now we lost $200 from ads. So we're minus $200, but we made $500, which means we actually made $300 profit. So over here, we broke even with our ads and made $200 profit. Over here, we did not break even with our ads, but we made more profit. Now, I know this is hypothetical, but I'm going to show you proof at the end of it. Now, what Stephen Pope discovered, if you don't know who Stephen Pope is, he's the founder of My Amazon Guy. What Stephen Pope discovered is that for every one PPC sale that you make, it will bring you anywhere from 2 to 3 organic sales in the next 6 months. So you might get a PPC sale this month, and then next month you might get 2 organic sales because you got this sale over here. Because like I said, PPC and organic work together. They are one. They help each other. However you affect one, you will affect the other. If you treat them as separate entities, it's going to be very difficult for you to grow your book. So you can actually make more money organically, more actual profit by allowing your ACOS to be a little bit higher than break even. Because your ads, it's okay if you don't break even in your ads. I'm going to show you why right now. You don't want to be focusing on ACOS. You want to be focusing on tacos or tacos, however you want to say it. I'm going to say tacos. Tacos sounds good. This is your total ACOS. I'm going to call it total ACOS. This is your total ACOS. What does this mean? ACOS means revenue compared to spend. What total ACOS means is royalties compared to spend. Not revenue, royalties. Now, why is this more accurate? Because royalties is the money that you're actually making. It's not revenue numbers. It's not money that's not yours. It's not Amazon's money. Royalties is your money, your actual profit that you're making, your actual money that you're getting in your bank account. So you want to compare the amount of money that you spent on ads compared to the amount of money that you actually made back. Not revenue. So if you made $2,000 this month in royalties and spent $1,000 on ads, then you have a 50% TACOS, total ACOS, which basically means you spent half your royalties on ads to actually make those royalties. You spent 1,000, you made 2,000, you kept 1,000 for yourself. This is your actual profit. This is a more accurate number to look at. Total ACOS, way more accurate than ACOS, because you're actually looking at your numbers. Now here's the thing, by actually looking at your total ACOS, not just your ACOS, you're not trying to break even. You're trying to see your business overall as a whole. Because by trying to break even with your ACOS, you're only focusing on the PPC. So if your book is growing this much because you're focusing on break-even ACOS and you get this many organic orders, by focusing on your PPC as a whole, because you understand that PPC and organic work together and ACOS doesn't matter when you're growing your book, your total ACOS is what matters, then what you can do is you can allow yourself to either spend more or spend in better places, regardless of the ACOS. You can have a 35% ACOS here, and you can have a 50% ACOS here, and you will make more money because you will make more organic sales. Now, organic sales is your actual money. Even if you lose only on the PPC, you're making more organically, which is where your profit is. Organic is where your profit is. You want to be looking at your business as a whole. Now, here's the problem. What if your actual ACOS, not your total ACOS, your PPC ACOS, what if that's really high? What if you have 100% ACOS, 120% ACOS, or 150% ACOS? In fact, I've seen people get 200% ACOS. What does this mean? Why is it so high? Well, there's a law of the universe that says for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. What does this mean? That means if I do one thing, another thing will happen because I did that one thing, but it will be opposite. That doesn't make any sense. That wasn't a good example. So let me actually show you in KDP terms what this means. That means if your ACOS is high, then there must be something else that's really low that affects your ACOS, because this is an equal and opposite reaction. So if your ACOS is super high, what is the thing that's really, really low that's giving you a high ACOS? Well, there's only one thing. That's your conversion rate. Let me show you exactly what I mean. We're going to pretend we're running ads. We got 10 clicks. Each one of those clicks cost us 50 cents. This is our cost per click. Now, our book has a 10% conversion rate, which means if we got 10 clicks at a 10% conversion rate, we made one sale. Now, how much do we make per sale? Let's say we make $5 for every sale. Well, we gathered 10 clicks, spent 50 cents per click, which means we spent $5. At a 10% conversion rate, 10 clicks, we got a sale, we made $5, which means we now have a 100% ACOS because we spent $5 to make $5. We spent 100% of our money to make the money back. What happens if we change our conversion rate to 20%? So we increased our conversion rate. Well, there is an equal and opposite reaction. We increased our conversion rate, which means our ACOS should drop. So with 10 clicks, we spent $5. Again, we spent $5 to get 10 clicks, but this time we did not get one sale because 20% of 10 is 2. We got 2 sales. 2 sales, $5 each, we make $10. Now, if we spent 5 and we made 10, 5 is half of 10, which is 50%, which is exactly how much our ACOS is going to be. So now, because we increased our conversion rate, we lowered our ACOS, 50% ACOS, because there's an equal and opposite reaction. ACOS and conversion rate work together, just like PPC and organic work together. You must look at your business as a whole. Your ads are not separate from your organic. There's a lot of people that come to me and say, is there a way to make money with KDP and not run ads? And my response is, why would you not want to run ads? Would you want to buy a Ferrari with no wheels? What is the point? Just to have it in your garage with no wheels. It doesn't make any sense. Ads are a fundamental process of a business. You are running a business. I have never heard of anyone starting a business and not want to run ads. If I'm starting a car washing business, obviously I want to advertise my car washing business because more people will come in and actually buy from me. If I open a coffee shop, obviously I want to advertise my coffee shop because I will make more sales. More people would come in. If I have a restaurant, obviously I want to advertise. No matter what business I have, I want to advertise my business. So I don't understand why people want to start a book publishing business and not want to advertise their books. Because you don't have money. I understand. I understand that some people don't have money. But Amazon ads is one of the most fundamental things you need to understand. You must run ads if you actually want to make some money on KDP. If you don't have money, save money and then publish your book. And also, if you don't have money, spend some time learning. This is your opportunity to learn since you don't have money. Now, it sounds all fun when I'm telling you don't focus on ACOS and all of that, but let me actually show you how my book performed because I wasn't focused on ACOS. So when it comes to advertising, what I teach is I teach phase 1, 2, and 3. Each phase has a different step. Phase 1 is your launch. What does this mean? This means you just launch your book, try and get as many sales as possible so you can position your book in the right place on Amazon. That's the launch phase. Then I show you how to scale your book. I'm not going to go into each phase in this video, but I show you how to scale your book. So now that you launch your book and you're in the correct place, the scaling phase will help you get way more sales in your niche so you can become an authority figure, so you can become the go-to book, so you can make way more sales than in the launch. And then finally, in phase 3, this is your optimization phase. This is when you scale things down and only focus on the core fundamental parts of advertising that's actually going to get you the highest return on your investment. That's where we optimize. In the optimization phase, which is usually in month 3 to 4, this is when we focus on ACOS. In month 1 and 2, I don't even look at ACOS. I do not care about the ACOS. I care about everything else. I care about my impressions and my click-through rate and my SEO and my conversion rate, but I do not care about the ACOS. The ACOS is not going to help me grow. Now, if you're a G like me and you know the system for publishing, or if you're in the Profitable Publisher system and you know the system for publishing, that's my program where I show you everything, then you'll be able to reach the optimization phase before anyone else. And that's exactly what I did. So with my book, I actually reached the scaling phase way too early because my book was performing so well. And here are the results. During the launch of my book, the launch month, that was July, I had a 66.95% ACOS. Not total ACOS. This was my ACOS for the first month. Now what that gave me is 330 ad sales. So these are sales that are made from ads, and 488 total sales. So if we do some maths, all we have to do is do 488 minus 330, and we can figure out our organic sales, which is 158. That's my organic sales. This is for the month of July. Now, right now it's August, and I only have data until August 15th. So I only have 15 days worth of data. This right here is 30 days worth of data, and what I want to tell you is 15 days worth of data. So what we can do is actually double it and just predict where it's going to be. It's going to be super rough, but you're going to see the difference. So for now, this month, can you guess what my ACOS is? This is the second month of running the book. My ACOS is 67%, which is exactly the same as before. My ACOS did not change. Even though people might say your ACOS should have went down. Normally, if you go talk to any other KDP guru, expert or whatever on YouTube, they're going to tell you your ACOS should drop. But here's the thing. Even though my ACOS did not drop, it stayed exactly the same. Here's the amount of orders that I got. I got 157 ad orders. That's in the 15 days. So if we assume that in 30 days, it continues its trajectory, which is very, very steady out. It seems like it's going the correct way. If we double it, we'll just say 300, just to be conservative. So I got 300 ad orders, less than the day before, less than the month before, or basically roughly the same. 30 sales is nothing. Now, what about total? My total is 338. Now, if we double 338 so we can see what the final result is going to be for the month of July, then that's 676, I think. Yeah, that's 676. So if we minus this, 676 minus 300, we would have around 300 organic sales. So look at what happened now. We have the same exact ACOS as last month, 67%, 66.9, 67%. We have the exact same number of ad sales. Can you see this? 300. If we actually double this, it's 314. But look at what happened at our organic. So organic is 158, but over here, organic is 300. So the ACOS stayed the same. The ad sales stayed the same, but the organic doubled. Guess what that means? If my organic doubled and everything else stayed the same, I doubled my profit from last month. Why did I double my profit? Because I wasn't focused on ACOS. I was focused on all the other fundamental things. I was focused on conversion rate. I was focused on click-through rate. I was focused on my SEO, the correct keywords, the correct campaign structure. I was focused on my phase 1 and scaling to phase 2. I was focused on everything before. ACOS, I wasn't even looking at it. And it stayed the same. My ads stayed the same, but my organic boosted, which means I make money. Now, in month 1, I lost money here because obviously I made way more sales with ads than I did organically. So the first month I lost money, which is completely normal. You're launching your book. You're launching a business. You're launching an asset. So I lost a little bit of money launching my book. And now I'm transitioning to phase 2. And my book is already profitable in the second month of launch. And you can see why. Because I was focused on the business as a whole, PPC and organic together. I wasn't separating them. I wasn't focused on ACOS and how to minimize the amount of money I spend. I'm focusing on how can I grow my book as fast as possible, as best as possible, so I can make the most amount of money as possible. Now, I barely did any optimizations over here. I didn't decrease my bids. I barely did anything. I don't even remember the last time I went in my adverts to optimize anything. Now, what most people are going to teach you is to lower your bids, and lower your bids, and lower your bids, and spend as little as possible on your ads. But if you spend as little as possible on your ads, you're growing as little as possible as well, organically. If you just let your ads do the thing, just let them do their work, especially if you actually know what you're doing, then these are the results that you can expect. You can expect organically to grow extremely quickly as well, especially if you do it correctly. That's why I don't focus on ACOS. I focus on conversion rate, and I focus on click-through rate. Those two alone are 10 times more important than ACOS. ACOS is important afterwards. ACOS is important when your book listing is already mature. ACOS is important when you're already making a bunch of sales and you just want to optimize your ads. Then you can start scaling down because your organic is taking over. That's when ACOS is important. But if you launch your book 1 month ago or 2 months ago and then you're trying to get break-even ACOS, your book is going to be very hard to grow because you're basically planting a seed, you're watering it, and you want to get the apples from the apple tree before the apple tree even sprouted. Doesn't make any sense. By focusing on ACOS, especially at the start, you're destroying your chance of success. You're destroying your book's growth. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Go out there and make a bunch of money.